Hi everyone, it's Liz. I hope you're all doing well out there. It's really cold here in the UK at the minute. It's about -2 degrees C, which is much colder than I'm comfortable with. So my plan for December is to hopefully sew some nice and cozy things. I have a new job starting in January. I'd like to make some workwear if I can, but we'll see. It might be a bit ambitious to sew a whole new work wardrobe in time for January. So I wanted to take you through some of the plans, some of the things that I'm planning to sew and knit throughout December, and I also wanted to take you through some of the bits and pieces that I picked up at the knitting and stitching show in Harrogate, which I went to at the beginning of November. That actually feels like 2 minutes ago, and I've just realised it was like about a month ago, so it's crazy how fast time's going at the minute. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video telling you what I've been up to and what my plans are, and if I'm honest, I feel like I kind of burned out a little bit at the end of April. Sewing the Victorian ball gown was an absolutely mammoth task, and yeah, it just feels like after that was done, I kind of didn't even want to look at camera. I didn't want to embark on any more big projects, and it almost felt like if I wasn't doing a big impressive project, was it even worth showing? So consider this video my kind of way of easing myself back into doing a bit of vlogging again. Some of you might have noticed that I didn't actually upload a video showing the process of making the Victorian bodice. This again is just because I felt a bit burned out with the whole editing raw footage together, and the bodice creation process was really experimental. It didn't really work from a pattern, and just kind of winged it for a lot of it. So it feels now, when I look back at the raw footage, like it's kind of like trying to piece together a jigsaw in terms of showing you the process. But I do plan to try and get that video out. Another thing that's kind of stopped me from editing that one together is the fact that I didn't get a lot of footage from the ball, so I don't have a good reveal to show you. So what I'm planning on doing is trying to clear some time in the diary to get dressed back up and make some footage, or take some footage of the reveal of that one. So let's talk about what I'm planning on making in December. If you followed me over on Instagram, you might recently have seen that I am making a 1920s skirt. This was originally meant to be for an event that I was going to at the beginning of November, which was an old-timey railway, steam railway journey with afternoon tea, which was going to be absolutely amazing. But it's my daughter's birthday at the beginning of November, and honestly, I didn't want the sewing crunch, and it was going to be too stressful to try and sew an entire outfit in the space of 2 weeks. So I graciously kind of stepped away from that one and decided that even though I wasn't going to that event anymore, I would still try and make myself a 1920s outfit, because I think in the future I'd like to do more events, and I'd like to do it without the sewing crunch of making something specifically for that event. So my plan is to make a 1920s outfit, and then I still have it in the bag for the next time we decide to do something. The pattern is from a company called Bright Young Thing, and it looks like a lot of their listings are for reproduction patterns from vintage. So the one that I've got is a pleated design, sort of mid to late 1920s, when the hems started to rise much more to just under the knee. It's pleated, fully pleated all the way around. It has this really gorgeous zigzag chevron kind of yoke. Unfortunately, the pattern is not supplied with any instruction, so I'm kind of having to make it up as I go along, the best that I can with the knowledge that I have in my head, which isn't a lot. So yeah, it's kind of slow going because I feel like every time I approach the table, it's not just one of those where you just look at the next step on the pattern and decide what it is that you're going to do. It's everything is kind of having to be figured out step by step, and although probably for someone who's put a lot of skirts together, it probably wouldn't be that much of an issue, but it's not massively in my comfort zone in terms of sewing, so I am having to really think about each step. Pleats also kind of make my brain fart, so that's also not been the funnest thing. The other project I'd really like to get done in December is a new Christmas party dress. I do have 2 events. One is next week. I think it's going to be a bit ambitious to try and get this dress done for the event next week. I do have a backup dress for that one, so if I don't get it done, I'm not going to wreck myself trying to do it. I'm going to aim for it. If I miss, it's fine. I have another event on the 21st, which is a meal out with some friends, so I think that's a safer target to aim for, and I will probably wear it on Boxing Day as well. The dress is a dupe of this Disturbia dress. I absolutely love everything about it. I'm not fully convinced it's my style, but I'm willing to give it a go. I put a shout out on my Instagram because I couldn't find a pattern that really matched the style of the dress that I'm going for, that wasn't going to result in me having to do a lot of hacking. And I do have the True Bias Shelby, and I also have the Deer and Doe Bluet, which I thought I could probably hack. The main elements of this dress that I'm trying to dupe are the fact that it has princess seams, which are not that easy to hack from a darted pattern if you're not well experienced, which I'm not. And the other feature is the open back, which also I was feeling a little bit unsure about just hacking that in the time that I've got available. I'm sure it's, you know, well within my skill set to do it, but doing it under pressure is just no fun. It's more fun when you can do these things as a thought exercise without the added crunch of sewing it for a deadline. So I put a shout out on my Instagram to try and find a pattern that was close enough that I wouldn't have to do a lot of hacking. And someone did very helpfully recommend the Vogue 9328 pattern, which has the princess seams already. It does have a waist seam, which I'm not that keen on. I would have preferred it to be like full length panels. So I might see if I can tape those panels together and convert it to full length panels. And it doesn't have a short puff sleeve option, but that's fine. I can work with that, and I can definitely draft my own puff sleeve or alter the sleeves to be more of a short puff. The key thing is though that it has the open back, it has the V neckline. So my plan is this weekend to go up to BST Fabrics and First for Fabrics and find some velvet. I've seen that BST has some non-stretch velvet and First for Fabrics have some nice looking stretch velvet. So I'm going to probably buy both types and see which one I feel is going to work best. I also have another dress pattern in mind, which is one of the new Deer and Doe patterns, and I'm going to say it's called the Olage or Olage. It's kind of got a keyhole design at the neck, and I fancy having that for a backup dress, which is why I'm going to buy both types of velvet. Stretch velvet will probably do the Deer and Doe pattern, and the non-stretch velvet hopefully should do the Vogue pattern. I will keep you updated because this is going to be one of those things where I might just wing it and see. The next project that I'm trying to do, and as I'm going through these I'm already realising that this is probably far too much, but I'm going to try. The other project that I've got in mind is a new winter coat. If you follow me over on Instagram, you'll know that I am a Minerva brand ambassador, and not every month but most months I do find a fabric that I like in their list that they'll send out for brand ambassadors. So last month, maybe it was October or November, I can't remember, I did get this black wool. It's like a boiled wool. It's got really very little, a tiny bit of stretch to it, but I wouldn't consider it a stretch fabric, and it's quite thick. So I follow someone called M Gets Dressed over on Instagram, and she posted quite a while ago now a coat that she was wearing that she said was a dupe of the All Saints Monument coat. And when I looked at the Monument coat, I absolutely fell in love, but I really don't want to spend £400 on a new winter coat. So I was thinking that this wool fabric could make a nice dupe of that. I have a pattern that I bought actually for the 1920s coat that I think I could probably adapt to work as a dupe for the Monument coat, but this one's really going to be a bit of an experiment and a process. So I'm saving that for over December during the Christmas holidays. I'm hoping that I can get it done, because I think if I pull it off, it'll look absolutely amazing. And I really do need kind of a smart winter coat that's not too bright and too bold. I just want something nice, black, woolly, plain, but also the design is stunning. So we'll see if I pull that off. I will also keep you updated on that one. Okay, so that's everything that I think I'm going to try and sew in December. I think it's ambitious, but we'll see. One of the things I like about these videos, and something that I had kind of fell off the wagon with, is the fact that these, I don't want to say they keep me honest, and I don't want to say that they keep me accountable, because it's not about being accountable, but I do find that having almost like a to-do list that I said out loud that I was going to try and do helps crystallise things in my head a little bit, and also keeps me motivated to want to sew the things that I said I was going to sew. So yeah, so I'm hoping that even though it's an ambitious list, I'll get it done. All right, let's talk about things that I got from the Harrogate Knitting and Stitching Show. You may or may not know that I'm a Juki ambassador. So this time last year, I purchased this rather wonderful machine, which is the Juki HZL UX8. I was given quite a big discount on the machine in return for talking to you about it and sort of showing it off when I sew. I'm already a big advocate of Juki machines. As you will see if you've watched my cover stitch machine video or my overlocker versus cover stitch what's the difference video, I bought my Juki machines some years ago now, and I really rate them. I think they're amazing. Wouldn't hesitate to recommend them if you're looking for a slightly more premium cover stitch, overlocker or sewing machine. So at the Knitting and Stitching Show, it was a good opportunity to catch up with the guys on the Juki stand, and one thing that they had promised to me, because they know that I really love my cover stitch machine, is a binder attachment. So if you don't know what a bias binding attachment is, I'll just show you. It looks like this. Weird contraption. Basically, it just allows you to bind the edges of your knit garments a lot easier than trying to put it on in 2 or 3 steps. What I will do is try and get some video of this so you can see how it works if you're interested at all. These are not cheap bits of kit if you buy the official Juki one. You can pick them up cheaper on Amazon. What I will say is that I've tried that, and often they won't fit your machine. You have to buy a plate, like an adapter plate that helps them to fit. And actually some of the ones I've bought 2 in the past from like sort of cheapy websites, I found that they didn't feed through very well. They just didn't sort of feel nicely put together. This one feels very nicely put together, really high quality, so I'm looking forward to playing around with that. Another thing that I picked up from the Emporia Patterns stand was this gorgeous magnetic pin dish. Basically, when I sew, I don't like to sew over pins, so what I find is that I end up with like a million pins all scattered all over the sewing platform of my sewing machine, because I kind of take them out in a panic and just fling them anywhere while I'm sewing a seam. So I figured that this could live under the free arm of my sewing machine, and when I take a pin out, I don't have to put too much thought into just kind of getting the pin in the general vicinity of the pin dish. And it's this gorgeous resin. It's kind of got gold leaf and rose gold leaf and silver leaf all encased in the black resin, which is absolutely gorgeous. And these are by Ethel and Joan. I do believe they still have some left over at Emporia. If you would like to have one for yourself, head over to their website. I'm sure they've still got some. Another really basic bit of kit that I picked up at the Knitting and Stitching show from the Barn Yarns stall. This was not given away for free or anything. By the way, I bought this as well, but I did get a discount, just so you know, because the Emporia ladies are lovely. And this is a double-sided quilting tape that washes away. This is super handy if you've got any tiny little seams that you need to keep in place while you're stitching them. Maybe if you're making something with jersey and the edges are rolling just a tiny little bit and it's really irritating you and you want that to lay flat, you can use this stuff, and it won't gum up your sewing machine needle, and it washes out. So this is really handy, and I just picked it up while I was perusing the Barn Yarns stand. So yeah, I did buy that. That wasn't a freebie or anything. And then the other thing that I bought was 12 balls of this King Cole Panache, which is a double knitting yarn. It's 50% wool, 50% premium acrylic. I do like to have some wool content in my yarn, just because I think it's nicer to wear. It just improves the sort of quality of the final garment. Obviously, if you're a vegan, you probably won't agree, but I do prefer with some wool content, and this was a bargain. 12 balls for £24, which works out, obviously, if you can do really simple maths, at £2 a ball. So I really wasn't looking to come back with any fabric or any yarn, because honestly my stash feels like it's out of control in terms of fabrics at the minute. And I don't do a huge amount of knitting anymore, although I have just finished a cardigan, which I love, which I will show you in a minute. And I do plan to knit myself some more chunky jumpers, or perhaps another chunky cardigan. And yeah, this was just too good of an offer to pass up. It's got almost like a brushed sort of feel to it, almost like not quite a mohair, but it's kind of on the fluffier side of a yarn rather than a smooth yarn. And also when I look at the actual yarn itself, it's a little bit thick and thin. So it should produce some quite interesting texture, I think. So that'll be cold night project for me. Probably finish it in the summer when it's no use to anybody at all. But knowing my track record with knitting, I do tend to sort of put things down and pick them up, and a jumper might take me a year to finish. It's just the kind of thing that I like to do in short, bite-sized chunks. So I said I was going to show you the cardigan. Here it is. It's the Morchella cardigan pattern. Sorry, I can't remember the designer, but if you search for Morchella cardigan on Ravelry, you'll find it pretty easily. I regret the sizing on this a little bit. I did knit a swatch, but obviously either I tightened my gauge up by accident when I was knitting on the actual thing, or I don't know, maybe just didn't calculate the size right, but this feels like it's a size too small. It was knitted with Drops Lima, which is an alpaca blend. It has been blocked, and I'm just waiting for buttons to arrive from Textile Garden, but obviously there's quite a lot of disruption at the minute in the Royal Mail system, so they haven't arrived yet, but I'm sure they'll be imminent. So the cardigan's probably just a little bit on the tight side for my tastes. I was hoping for something maybe a little bit baggier that I could sort of tuck into my jeans and make it, you know, look comfy and casual. but it's all right. It was tighter than it is now before I blocked it, so I have actually blocked it. It's probably blocked up one size. I'm thinking about making another one and making 2 sizes bigger, because I'd rather have it bigger than too small. And I'll probably buy another bulk of drop sleemer for that, because it's such a nice and warm yarn, and the bounce and texture that it gives is just fabulous. So that's all from me for the minute. I am very grateful to you if you're still here and still watching. Please give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!